Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Stitch Sessions, and welcome back to a crochet quick chat. So over the last few days, I've been doing a few more videos on anything that you had questions about. And I actually started doing some of my crochet classes online, the ones that I do on the weekends in real life. And during these quarantine times of self-isolating and social distancing, I thought it would be kind of a neat idea to do some of my crochet classes online, which we had one today and it was fantastic. And as well for the channel, I thought we would put a few more videos out over the next few days and few couple of weeks to keep us all connected and keep us grounded and keep us crafty and occupied. So today's crochet question, and in fact, I got it today in the class, is all about creating circular projects or projects that are done in the round, not necessarily circular. So the question I'll get sometimes is, when should I use a cinch circle as opposed to a chain circle to start a circular project? And of course, this topic came up because we've been working on granny squares. So I thought this would make for a good crochet quick chat conversation. Now, I'm going to start off right away talking about the granny square, because this is the motif that is probably the most commonly associated with crochet. So I've got a couple of my projects here that I've done in the past so far using the granny square motif, and this is a pretty little scarf I made out of actually a lot of scrap yarn, and I'm just going to put in a clip of a closer look of the scarf here. And so in this particular project, you can see that the center of my granny square is cinched shut, so there is no gap. And in this case, I used a cinch circle to begin the project. So the answer to should I use a cinch circle or a chain circle, kind of very similar to the answer about the chainless foundation row. It's completely up to you and what your preference is for the look or the design that you like. I really do like using a cinch circle for all of my rounded projects or anything that starts from the center out. I mean, that's essentially what we're talking about, whether it's granny squares or circles, which, by the way, I do have a tutorial on how to make a granny square, and I'll put it in the description box down below, and it's this video right up here. But that video does use the chain circle method. And the reason why I did that tutorial using that method is it is known as being the easiest one for beginners to start with. It's just a little bit easier to see the center of your circle. So, which reminds me, I just did one with the class. So I'm not sure if you can see that there, but I'll put a clip of it up as well for you to see. So we were working on granny squares using the chained circle. And so you can see with that one, the center of the granny square has a gap or it's got a bit of a more of a lacy look. So that is probably the most traditional way that you're going to see a granny square done, is keeping that gap in the circle. And it does add a very pretty look to it. It keeps it all consistent with the spacing between the shells. But if that's what you prefer, then that's the method that you should use. Now, I just have one other project here. Some of you may remember this. This is our sunflower hot pad, and you may remember it from the video we did right up there. And I'll leave a link for it in the description box down below so you can tackle that too. Now, this is black yarn, so you're probably gonna have a hard time seeing it. I do have a clip of it on video, but I took a close-up photo, so hopefully you can see. We used puff stitches for the center of this, but see, this is a circular motif, but again, we started from the center, working our way out, And again, I use the cinch circle method. And that just for me, I just liked it because it just snuggles the center in quite nicely and then really kind of allows the design to work from the center out. As always, these things are, it's your preference. It's what you like. That's the cool thing about creating art, is it really is what draws what speaks to you, right? Like what draws your eye, what kind of gives you an emotion of some kind. So there is no right and wrong way to do it, is what I'm getting at. So a lot of times we're getting asked about, which way should I do something? Should I do it with the cinch circle or the chain circle method? Should I have the chainless foundation or the strict chain method? It will all depend on what you like. And also, I think, just a little something to keep in mind, what is the project going to be used for? So in a case like this where I did a scarf and I wanted to create a little bit of that, lacy look with the spacing, I could have easily done this with the chain circle method and it would have looked just as pretty. If you are working on a circular project, like let's say you're making a bag, a handbag, a shoulder bag, a purse, which by the way, we do have a tutorial coming up for one of those. But in the meantime, you might want to check out this tutorial right up here on how to make a circle, like actually how to begin crocheting a circle. Because an actual circle is it's similar, but it's slightly different in creating the square shape. So you might want to check that out. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in another crochet chat about building your circles. So basically it is, if you wanted to, where was I? Yes, I was talking about bags. So if you're creating a bag, I would probably in that case recommend using the cinch circle method, because what it does is it solidifies the center of your project and also creates a little bit of strength, especially if you're creating a bag. I actually made a bag using a circular motif and a cinch circle beginning in our wine bottle gift bag tutorial. And you're going to find that one up there. And I'm going to put a link for it in the description box down below. So those are great examples, great tools that you can look at for different examples of, when we're using cinch circles, when we're using chain circles. So I hope that kind of clarifies a little something on the differences of whether or not to use one or the other, or how to use one or the other. Now, in the next video I have coming up, it will be a little bit of a shorter tutorial, but it's going to talk about the different ways to begin a center starting piece of work. So I am going to use the granny square as an example. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you through the 3 different ways that you can begin it. You can either begin it with the cinch circle, which I would probably recommend for those of you that are just a little bit more experienced. There is the chain circle method, which usually we would do anywhere from a chain 5 to a chain 7, and then we would slip stitch to join to create a ring. The third method is chaining 4, and then working your center out of that very first chain that we did. Now it's hard to explain here now, but I'm going to break all of that down in the next tutorial I have coming up for you, probably in the next day or 2, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I hope you found that useful, helpful, and I hope you are enjoying these little crochet quick chats. Just sometimes there's just little topics that you want to touch on and want a quick little answer to. So I am hoping that you're finding these helpful and useful. And if you know of anybody that needs the answers to these questions, please feel free to share this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so that you'll stay up to date every time we upload a video. Now, our regular video tutorials, we upload every Wednesday morning, but over the next couple of weeks, we're going to upload a few more times during the week, just because we're in a time of quarantine, self-isolation, as we, kind of work our way through the coronavirus epidemic. And so most of us are staying at home, and we need ways to stay crafty, stay occupied. So I am going to be posting a few more over the next couple of days and weeks. In the meantime, everyone, I wish you well, stay healthy, stay in, and happy crocheting. Take care.